Hey guys, welcome to the podcast. We are joined today by Crystal Hobbs. Crystal Hobbs is a master connector with a background in business development and leadership. Her career spans banking, business lending, and business development for a title company where she built strategic relationships and helped businesses grow. Today, she's the co founder of Beachside Luxury Group, bringing a relationship driven, results focused approach to real estate across Florida's Gulf Coast. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
I know I've been trying to get you on for a little while, and our schedules are, we've both been busy as usual, busy entrepreneurs, but I'm super excited to get into this today with you because you've been doing so many things. Like you've got your hand in a lot of different areas in Sarasota and involved in the community. And every time I look on social, you're doing something incredible and giving back and serving. And so I would just love to cover as much as we can.
Me too. And likewise, I feel the same.
And as you all notice, if you're watching the video, like her hair is absolutely gorgeous. So I always have to say that because it's all natural. She's got an incredible way about like just, going out in the morning and her hair stays that way. And I'm like sitting here thinking to myself, like, I get a touch of humidity and then I lose the curl. Like, it's like, come on. So we are blessed to have your presence in that way too. So let's start with we got some great things in the pipeline. What are the priorities right now?
This year, I think, is going to be a really great year for all real estate professionals. The last couple of years have been really tough in the real estate industry. And earlier last year, I started my own real estate team called Beachside Luxury Group and have brought my husband into that business with me. And so we have really big goals for 2026. We're really looking to continue building relationships with our existing
Mhm.
clients and really start to build our real estate business
Mhm.
and not 100% sure what that's going to look like, whether we're going to continue building our team or just continue trying to serve as many buyers and sellers as we can this year. We're not 100% sure what the, primary goal will be, but our goal right now is just small. It's just to
Mhm.
help people and be more of like an above average real estate agent.
Well, I love the name, Beachside Luxury Group. Do you have like a specific niche or area of focus that you're trying to gravitate towards or not necessarily?
Not necessarily, we really have a goal to get into the luxury market, which is why we, put luxury in our name. However, I have always been the type of person that no matter how small your business is, no matter how small a relationship is from like a price point standpoint, it doesn't matter. We want, I want to help you. And so we are open to helping anybody. We got a call from another real estate agent that asked us if we could help with a mobile home sale, like super small, like $15,000.
Yeah.
And we said, absolutely, there's nothing too small. We'd be happy to help anyone that needs our help. So recently, that has looked like a lot more in the multifamily space. So we've been doing a lot of investment properties since I started in the real estate business because we are very familiar with the multifamily and the investment property since my husband and I are investors ourselves and we have rental properties back in Oregon. And here we're always, personally looking for great opportunities to invest in real estate. And so that's where our business has really grown is around that this year.
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome. So as far as like the market shifting and that kind of thing, do you see a shift in and granted I've been following along a little bit, but we're still renting. So we're figuring out where our dream home is going to be. We've been flexible since we came to Florida in 2018 and when we're just keeping our eyes open. We'd like to have a little bit of acreage and we'd like to just have a little bit more space in an ideal world, but as far as, like, people moving down here, and would you say that there's still a lot of people coming from up north or different areas around the United States? And then also for those that are already here in terms of moving, has that slowed down? Has that shifted? What are the trends for 2026 that you're seeing?
I'm already starting to see a lot of people having questions about moving here to
Okay.
Florida and especially our area. I think this morning, as I was on social media, just kind of scrolling, I saw at least 4 posts about people saying that they're moving here this year, which is a really good sign for the market.
Yeah.
As soon as interest rates started to come back down, we really started to see a lot of buyers start shopping again, pre-approvals going up significantly. And so we're starting to see that shift. I think another thing that, we're seeing right now is a lot of sellers that took their home off the market last year are starting to relist.
Oh,
So they're feeling confidence in the market. I still think, in my perspective, it's still more on the side of being a buyer's market where buyers have a lot of flexibility in their offers. And it's
mhm.
very important to be strategic about that. I still think they have the upper hand in getting a really or making a really strong offer. You can still
Mhm.
get concessions towards closing costs, limiting that out of pocket. And sellers, I think they have a unique advantage right now too. They can list before buyers are shopping and be one of the opportunities that a buyer has to purchase. Right now,
Sure.
with sellers kind of holding tight and not listing, buyers aren't looking at their property, so it's not going. I think it's very important to be strategic with how you price your home. The goal is really to get your home sold within the first, 60 days. You're going to get the maximum amount for your home.
And I think it's important for us to be aware of that, and there's a lot of I think, especially for our area, Southern Florida, people are so transient, like, there's a lot of people coming and going and just really try to figure out what's long term. So I know you provide really great advice with regards to that and just, like, helping people to understand, what are our priorities? What are the things that are most important, even seasonally? Like, I think, for some of us, it's hard to see 10 years down the road if we're gonna have that same house because there's a lot of movement, like I said. So when an active buyer is coming in, I think what's also creating confidence is that we don't necessarily have to think like, "Well, this is forever, like, we have to do this for the rest of our life." They can have confidence in knowing that the market is really it's great, and it probably will always be great because Florida is such a desired place. It just gives us such a great sense of appreciation of being here and experiencing life. Like, when my husband and I moved here in 2018, we were like, "Is this real? Like, is this real life?" Because we came from Illinois, we're used to, like, these sub-zero temperatures, and we were just so incredibly grateful because it felt like we were literally on vacation every day. We're like, you wake up and the sun is shining, and it gets you in such a great mood. So, I just think this place is very special. It has something so unique to offer, and I mean, Southern Florida in general, but also Sarasota because it's just very family oriented, it's very welcoming, and it's also very diverse. Like, we have so many different types of entrepreneurs, and it's evolving and it's growing, and so I just think of it as, like, a mecca of, like, ideas and possibilities and opportunities, and it's just continuing to grow.
Yeah, completely agree. I think one thing I talk to my clients about, especially if they're relocating from out of state, is you have to make time for it.
Yeah.
You have to make time to enjoy the area, like be very intentional. I thought the same thing in the first year of moving here. And my husband says all the time, you think that moving 25 minutes from the beach is close until you live here a couple
Yeah.
years. And then it's like, you actually can't live too close to the beach. One thing that we talk about, but I think you have to be intentional. People move here because they do want to live like they're on vacation, but making time for it is probably the
Yes.
most important thing. And to your point about it might not be their forever home. And that's a conversation that we have with people. Sometimes depending on the client, it's until their kids graduate high school. That's how long they're going to be in the home. And so we're starting to have a lot of conversations about, okay, what does it look like to purchase this home, be in it for 10 years, and then possibly rent it in this neighborhood, right?
Mm.
And we're talking about what does it look like when you are ready to actually move into your forever home? What kind of steps do we need to take at that point? And does this make sense to be a good rental property and
Yeah.
investment later? So there's so many layers to purchasing and the client's goals that have to be taken into consideration. So
And I just think nowadays more than ever, it's just good knowing we have options. Like we don't have to stay stagnant. We don't have to make a decision again, and it's forever. This is something that we can look at for a shorter period of time. And even like when I work with my clients, we have goals like 10-year goals, 5-year goals, but we don't prioritize those as being like the most important thing. Like right now, we're looking at the next year and we're working backwards and we're thinking about like the logistics of what we want to accomplish by the end of the 12 months. And I think the same is to be true with the place that you live or the activities that you're involved in, and just creating year by year. I just feel like it's so much easier for people to wrap their head around like shorter time periods because it allows them the accessibility to have the capacity to imagine like whether it's 90 days or 6 months or 12 or whatever. But I love now. I feel like our culture is allowing more flexibility for change and it's embracing it more. So yeah, so I'm very much looking forward to the opportunities that all of us can continue to create. And as being an entrepreneur is both challenging and amazing at the same time because there are so many shifts that are happening. But personally, I wouldn't change it for anything. I love being able to control my schedule and my business. And would you say that that's equally as true for you to be able to, you feel like you are building the business in a way that it's working for you and your goals and everything that you're heading towards?
Yeah, I do. I was just having this conversation yesterday. It's interesting in real estate, just like any other business owner, you're always working. However, you have pockets of time throughout the day that you wouldn't otherwise have if you worked a 9 to 5 job. And so I'm really grateful, if we have a showing appointment close to the beach, we can go walk around and take advantage of that. But like I said earlier, it's being intentional with the time.
Mhm.
And if you don't make time for the things that are important to you, like family and your relationships, I do find myself sometimes, questioning why don't I take any breaks? And I think it's important to take some breaks and
Yes.
slow down a little bit.
Yes.
But Brandon and I are being more intentional about that this year, trying to be more intentional about, yes, we're on all the time, but how can we enjoy where we live?
Yes, and exactly to your point, it's so easy to get just sucked right back into the routine, and you think about how you're in this amazing space and you embrace it for a period of time, and then next thing you know, you're right back into it. So regardless of where we live, of course, we have those responsibilities and we have those things that we have to take care of, but to recognize that we have the capabilities to be able to take advantage, being intentional about setting aside that time is so key. So that's one of the things my husband and I talked about this year as well, and just even places that we'd like to travel to outside of Florida, just exploring, having adventures, making memories, and doing all the things. However, I want to say that Florida has so many great places. Like, I mean, we're finding this out more and more. Like every day that I'm like, this is so cool. When you first move, you think, well, Florida beach. Well, I mean, from the southern tip to northern Florida, I mean, it's dramatically different
Mhm.
in like what you're able to experience and do. And so I'm so grateful for that because I'm like, it's not really that far off, it's right there at our fingertips. Every which way is typically within like 3 to 5 hours. And that's totally doable, right?
Yep. If you schedule it, we're doing that this year too, is trying to intentionally schedule more vacations. I was just watching, one of your, I don't know if it was a reel or somewhere you were talking online, and you were talking about vacations and being more intentional about that. And that's something we're trying to do as well. But we haven't even been to Key West and we really want to go.
It's so nice. And it's one of those places where you can get involved in the party scene or you could totally kick back and go fishing or, it's got like so
Mhm.
many options. So very, very cool. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today. I really appreciate it. If you were able to leave the audience with something today, do you have like a favorite quote or a thing that you live by or an idea or concept that you feel is like near and dear to your heart that you'd like to share today?
Sure. And thank you for having me. You only have one life to live, so live it where you want to be. After my dad passed away in 2020, we were going through COVID, and Brandon and I had canceled our vacation to Mexico, and we had actually come to Siesta Key Beach, and we stayed right on the beach in February, and we had never been to Florida before. And in that moment, I was just like, wow, Why like, life is too short to live in Oregon where it's freezing and I'm slipping and falling on ice and driving is scary, and so I would just say after my dad passed away, like, life's too short, you know? So live where you wanna live, where the place that's gonna make you happy, and if that's somewhere warm and sunny, you should check out Sarasota, Florida.
I could not agree more, and that is one of the brightest thoughts that I think all of us should hold near and be thinking about constantly, because at the end of the day, we don't know how much time we have. You know, we all have our own story, we all have our own timeline of the last time that we'll be able to experience what we would call a quality moment, and so that's why every day I think to myself, you know, how can I be intentional about having quality moments and making a difference and making impact in some capacity, even if it's just a kind gesture to someone else, you know, like giving someone a smile, making sure that we're holding our loved ones close and just truly having that desire and that passion to want to serve something greater than ourselves. And I think that's truly what brings us joy and brings us happiness. And I know every day I feel filled up when I exude myself in a way that then I know that I helped someone in some capacity. So just always trying to be thoughtful of that. Thank you for that. That was really sweet. And I just, like I said, I want to thank you so much for being in the show. Definitely give Crystal a follow. We will make sure to have her information below so you can get in contact with her. And as always, thank you for joining us on the podcast on Dreaming Night Build. And be sure to subscribe for more amazing episodes.